This past week, YouTube flipped the switch on ContentID for multi-channel networks. So if you're involved in video games, you are affected. We talk about that. Also this week, Valve unveiled the Steam box to all those beta testers. We drool and we envy over them. All that and much more on this week's Geek Gamer Weekly. Geek Gamer Weekly is brought to you by our very own Roku app for GeekGamerTV. You can go back and watch the back catalog of Geek Gamer Weekly, Minecraft Me, our specials from PAX Prime, E3, and soon-to-be CES 2014. To grab that app today, go to ggtv.me/Roku. This is Geek Gamer Weekly, episode 250, recorded Sunday, December 15th, 2013. YouTube Content ID. Hey everybody, welcome again to another edition of Geek Gamer Weekly. This is the Uber podcast for geeks and gamers. Thank you for joining us for episode 250 of an ongoing, continuing saga that is this show. And sorry to say that this is the last one. Well, it could be. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I'm hoping that these guys that I also consider very good friends of mine can help me work this out. Joining me this week is our good friend of the show, good friend of Minecraft, good friend in life. Here he is, Mr. John Kessler. Hey, John.
Hi.
How are you, man?
Okay. Just ducky.
Yeah, very good.
There.
Is it kind of a Duck Dynasty kind of a ducky, though? Is it that kind of thing?
No, just ducky.
I didn't realize that you were famous now.
No.
You're on television in Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
in the greater metropolitan area. I don't recognize you without the beard, though.
Mm-hmm.
You're not.
I have my own beard.
Fair enough. Also joining us this week, also a great friend of the show, also co-host of Minecraft Me, and server administrator, and he's earning that money this weekend. Here he is, folks, Mr. Joseph Elby. Hey, Joe, how are you?
Doing good.
Sorry that you have to reinstall all your stuff there. And
yeah, me too.
Because of an issue with someone installing 32-bit Linux in a 64-bit environment, or how would you explain that? Just someone not reading?
Yeah. So, I asked them to throw the install disk for the version of Linux that we use, and I didn't even think to specify 32 or 64-bit because the server's got 32 gigs of RAM.
Right.
So it's sort of a, it's like a, what else would you use?
Exactly. Right.
So I went through the whole setup process. I got everything up and running, and then all of a sudden I couldn't allocate more than a couple gigs of RAM to a Java process, and it's like, what is going on?
You did some
finally
investigative
it dawned
work.
on me. I did some digging in, and
Yeah.
it was like, oh, that's what's going on. So
yeah.
Now finally they did remount the correct drive for me, at least, which is nice. I appreciate that. However, it's still sort of like frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating because all that work is now gone, and you have to start all over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's now also time to introduce, if you're watching our video stream, the quad shot minus one person. Couldn't get a guest, number 4.
How exciting.
I tried. I really, really tried to bring somebody on. I put out the big word, but everybody seemed to be busy, either watching a wrestling pay-per-view or Sunday Night Football, or they just had schedule conflicts and they just couldn't do it. So
I like the background you
both
have.
of those things
Thank
are
you.
tonight.
Yeah, all those things are happening tonight. Yeah, there's a
Wow.
WWE pay-per-view. There's a big football game. And what was the other one? Whatever. It doesn't matter. No, they're just not available. People are not available.
Yeah.
So that's okay. This week, I did mention on the top of the show, and by the way, I did put out the word on the Twitters and the Facebooks, really looking for somebody. So if you're not following us on Twitter or the Facebooks, please do so. The YouTube universe is a very interesting one. and one that I think I joined the party very, very late. Geek Gamer Weekly, or Geek Gamer TV, I should say, has been around doing this kind of thing for 8 years. And it started off as an audio-only podcast that I did with a good friend of ours, Kyle Rumley. We did a show called Hoser Chat, and those exceptions are, I'm sorry, not exceptions. Gosh, where's my mind today? Those archives are still on our website. So we've been doing this for a long time, and instead of being weird and posting videos up on YouTube and clipping things and doing Let's Plays and all these other things, I did the audio podcast thing, eventually obviously going into video. So one of the things that we do on the show here is we talk about games. We talk about and show clips of trailers and video games and give our thoughts and ideas about them. But over the past week, John, you came to me. You actually sent me a message, and you said, "Hey, Chase, did you hear about the big YouTube fiasco?" Right? You were coming to me about that.
Yeah.
And what did you hear? What did you know?
I was just browsing my usual internet or news site. I won't name it, and they had a link on it about it.
Yeah.
And I was just like going, you hadn't said anything, so I was kind of curious to see what you had seen.
Yeah. So here's what is going on, you guys, essentially, and this is something that I've been combating for a couple of years now, is when you do a video and you post it up to YouTube, you have to be very, very careful and very sure that the content within that video falls under fair use law and copyright law. You need to make sure that you're not, ripping somebody off and not giving them fair credit for the works that they're doing. Let's say, for example, taking a song, say like from John's collection, a Michael Bolton song, and putting it on a video. You got to make sure that you're giving proper credit. And not only that, usually you can't even use the song anyway because there's copyright involved. Giving credit is not enough. Now, with millions of people uploading videos daily to YouTube, YouTube had to come up with a system to make it easier for them to enforce those copyrights because they were about to be sued out of existence. I don't know if you remember a number of years ago when Google purchased YouTube, one of the things is you had Viacom and you had these larger companies coming after them and say, hey, look, if you don't come up with a system that can flag these potentially copyright works, we're going to take you down because you're responsible for having this content up. So what YouTube did is they came up with a system called ContentID, which essentially what it does is when you upload a piece of video, it will scrub the video portion and the visual portion and the audio portion to make sure that you're not uploading something that is against that copyright or against those works, so to speak. A lot of it's automated. The majority of it's automated. But it also allows content holders or copyright holders, if they see that their works are being infringed upon, they can, with the simple click of a mouse, flag a video and require the person who posted that video, they have to prove that they have the rights to use that particular clip or video, okay? So now we know what ContentID is. So over the past week, ContentID kicked in for a major segment of the YouTube audience. Now, a lot of game streamers, a lot of game reviewers, a lot of those guys like Angry Biscuit, Angry Joe, Mark Buesler over there at ClassicGameRoom.com. A lot of these guys they got their videos flagged by an automated system. They basically flipped it. And the majority of those gamers that were affected, they were belonging to what are called MCNs, or multi-channel networks. Okay? Now, originally, these multi-channel networks were there to help protect, if you will, the members of those networks from bogus or wrong copyrights, and these multi-channel networks were supposed to police themselves, essentially, police their members. Well, they didn't do a very good job of it, and so YouTube said, well, we're taking over. We're going to Angry Biscuit. Sorry, chat room. Meant to be Total Biscuit. You guys knew what I meant. I'm not thinking straight from this, and I'll tell you why. But anyway, so the thing that gets frustrated about this is there's no a penalty for somebody throwing up a false claim. That's one. So they can just claim your content, say, hey, they're infringing my content. And then the other side has 30 days to dispute it, and typically they wait till day number 30 before they release or push the dispute even further. We heard a lot from small independents as well as larger independents. One guy that I've watched his videos for years, his name's Mark Buesler. He does something called Classic Game Room. He was one of the original, if you will, partners. And he said, basically, that he's not doing it on YouTube anymore. He's going to tell people that, hey, he's got a new review up on YouTube, and then direct people to his website to watch the content. Now, he has a large, huge audience to do this. I think his audience will end up supporting him wherever he goes. And this is where I'm going to come in with you guys here and going to ask you, and then we have more stories relating to Content ID here in a minute, but here we are, Geek Gamer TV, trying to get ourselves noticed, to put out quality content in gaming and technology. We put it up on YouTube. I mean, hell, Joe and I have run into this issue many times where we couldn't do certain Minecraft parodies because they got flagged on YouTube because the parody sounded so close to the legit song that it would get pulled. Or not just pulled, but flagged. And what happens here, you guys, is when a piece of content gets flagged, then that revenue goes away. Like all the hard work that putting into that revenue, because we know a lot of people either can't donate or contribute or won't. They just want to watch stuff for free. And so part of the appeal to putting videos up on YouTube is you get a piece of that shared revenue. So when more people watch your video because of something that you've done well, you get rewarded for that. But now, that's potentially going away. I mean, a lot of these guys got flagged, hundreds plus. Joe, I know we talked a lot about this on Thursday's Minecraft Me before the show. Kind of delayed the start of our show because a lot of this was fresh in our minds. Mm-hmm. But what do you think of this Content ID system that's always been there? It's been there for a while, but now it's starting to affect gaming-related content.
Well, it's hard, right? Because it's sort of a double-sided thing. If you're on the side of the content holder, if you own something, right? If you have the trademark on something, you don't want other people stealing it because that is your work,
right?
And it legitimately, there should be a method for people who are actually wronged to have a way to recover that, to
Absolutely.
get that back. And I mean, to be clear, there's no qualm with I don't have any qualm with a content holder. You know, I don't care if you're a giant movie studio making a movie and you're saying this is our property, as long as they're not going beyond the rules that are set in place for it. You know, there were a set of laws and they're still on the books that were decided, and that's how it should work, and that is what everyone should conform to. And it doesn't matter if you have $1 billion behind your name, it doesn't matter if you have $5 behind your name, everyone has to conform to the same rules. That's sort of how the system is supposed to work. The problem is, at least now, is the people with all this money are sort of stretching how far they can go. It's gone beyond the point of just saying, well, that is something we created and we have the rights to it and you're not allowed to use it. Now they're saying, well, it may not be something we technically created, but it's awfully close, or we would have created it if we thought of it. And just by saying that, they're able to get content shut down and taken offline, at least for 30 days. And after 30 days,
well,
whatever was done is so stale and so old that nobody cares about it anymore.
But it's not about also they don't get it taken down. What happens is they get a piece of that revenue and they split it with YouTube or split it with Google. And I mean, you got guys like Angry Joe who did I think he did a 15-minute interview with the makers of Tomb Raider. He had their permission. He was at a game show, either E3 or CES. I don't know where he was. But he was there at the game show doing the interview. He used no videos, no game music, none of it, and it was flagged. Now, the game companies, a lot of the major companies have already come out on this and said they support the YouTubers. They support them. They want them to dispute these things.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is there's a couple of issues here. First off, okay. Say you do a 20-minute review video about, I'm just trying to find a game in here, Call of Duty World at War. Game came out a few years ago. A lot of people were not happy with it. So do the review of Call of Duty World at War. They're using clips of the game. Is that legal? First, is that legal? Well, I would consider that, yes, that's considered fair use. Okay, I'm not taking the whole game and putting it up online. I'm doing a review of a game, okay?
And oftentimes those clips that are being used in that review are part of what's known as a press pack anyway.
Right. Which
is
what happens
distributed with the intent of being used for exactly that purpose.
Right. But what's happening is you have third-party companies that work with these game developers and publishers, and they have their systems in there, and they flag them, okay? And what happens is, so let's say I work really hard. I put 12 hours into this 20-minute video, editing, splicing, putting everything in there. I put it up on YouTube, okay? And it's fresh because the game just came out. So a lot of people are going to go into YouTube, and they're going to type in World at War review. And somebody may watch it and they'll spread it to their friends. It may become viral. And then what happens is eventually the ContentID system catches up because, remember, it's an automated system. It doesn't happen instantly. Sometimes it happens 1 or 2 days later. It will flag the content that was just uploaded, and then it requires me, the maker, to dispute it or acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can take up to 30 days to come back to what if they agree with me of my use, of fair use. And if they say, oh yeah, you're right, you can have it and you can monetize it all you want. Well, there's no penalty for them for flagging that content. So what happens is for those 30 days that dispute is in review, all ad revenue is going to them and Google. And then by the time they release it, it's old news. It doesn't matter anymore.
You back bill Google.
Right. There's no penalty for these flaggers, if you will. There's no penalty for them for false flagging your content. Someone could be malicious and try to get your content flagged and say they're from a third party. YouTube released a statement on this particular issue, and basically they don't seem to really understand the issue. And this is what they said, and this is their official statement. They said, quote, "We recently enabled the Content ID scanning on channels identified as affiliates of multi-channel networks." We talked about them. This has resulted in new copyright claims for some users based upon policies set by the relevant content owners. As ever, channel owners can easily dispute Content ID claims if they believe those claims are invalid. So there's many multi-channel networks like Machinima and IGN, and Curse is another one that I know of that are out there. But what happens is, what's the point of being a part of one of these networks if they're not there to protect you from the bogus claims, if you will? So you have some people like Mark over at Classic Game Room just taking his stuff and going somewhere else. But he's Here's the thing. He has the audience. He has the experience, and he has the following to support him in making that move. Now, a few days ago, I went ahead and made the decision to cease all monetization on all the videos that GeekGamerTV has on YouTube. I turned it all off. A, because I don't want YouTube getting another penny of my money than I can help it for. And B, I didn't want to start getting a lot of my videos claimed. Now, here's the thing, right? A lot of all the videos that we put out, I consider fair use under the law. And I'd be willing to fight it, of course, if I had the money and time to fight any claim against my videos. So the problem is, if something is viral in the very beginning, and after 30, they can wait to the very last day and then say, go ahead, let it go. I just don't know what to do, because a lot of the stuff that we do is gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the good news, right? YouTube is not our end-all, be-all of hosting of our content. We have a great website. A new one's going to be refreshed here very, very soon. It's going to be even better. It's going to be a great place to watch the content that we make. But the drawback is I can't easily monetize that video, get ads for it through the way I can use YouTube for that purpose. So I really don't know what to do. And also get people to discover us, right? I mean, what do you do? What can you do? Talking about independent, YouTube or YouTubers, there's this, I reached out to a lot of people, and this is a small independent. He doesn't have monetization on either. And he goes in and talks about how these YouTube claims can affect all of us, and I wanted to show this to you guys. Warning on the language, possibly.
Hello, folks. This is Neil here from I Will Always Love Video Games. I guess I was a little too nice in my last video. There's still some people out there who don't seem to get why this whole Content ID claim thing is. So I'm here to explain it. I'm going to explain why it's and why it affects not just gaming YouTubers. It affects all of us, even just viewers, not content creators. First off, I'd like to say again, at iWolf, we are not monetized. We're not making any money off our videos at all. We are not part of a multi-channel network. So personally, this Content ID claim isn't affecting us yet. But it still pisses us off for good reason. For very good reason. And another group of people who are pissing me off personally are the people out there who are telling people like Angry Joe to get a real job. Okay.
So he continues talking about that part of it, which is a different thing. But I want to address the chat room real quick and kind of answer some of the questions. Null Agent basically says some people may try to move to Twitch since it has an affiliate program. Well, yes and no. The thing is, you have to be uber popular to become affiliated. And the thing is, we're on Twitch. We're on Twitch right now. You could be watching us on Twitch. Mm-hmm. Well, the problem with Twitch is it's only for live streaming only. It's not meant to discover other videos. Now, yes, people have stored videos on Twitch, but the only time you ever earn any kind of revenue from Twitch is if you are quote-unquote partnered. And to be partnered, you have to have a huge audience and following. And to get up to that point, in my opinion, it's very, very hard to do. The thing is, Content ID is already there with streaming as well on YouTube. We tried doing a live stream of something, and our stream was yanked during the live show because it detected in the background some copywritten music that it was so faint we didn't even hear it, but it was there, and it got yanked.
And as a result, the entire channel was degraded for a time period.
Yeah,
as I
a week.
recall.
A week. We couldn't do any live
Yeah.
broadcasts for a week because there was copywritten audio in the background.
Yeah.
Which is probably what happened, by the way, to Angry Joe when he was at the convention. It probably picked up some sort of audio cue in the background. Now, yeah, YouTube says, well, all you got to do is, dispute it back. But then they get to wait 30 days.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, like one of the articles was talking about, is if they lose for some reason, you actually lose the dispute,
Yeah.
you get a strike against you.
Yep. And then what happens?
With enough of those, but I don't know what's
3 strikes and you're out.
Okay.
3, and then your account is gone. So
a lot of people are afraid.
They're very afraid. I mean, I don't blame Mark over at Classic Game Room one bit and taking his stuff to his website. But I'm looking at the small guy here, and I still consider us a small guy. I didn't make nearly anything on monetization with our videos being monetized on YouTube. This operation has been completely done out of majority my pocketbooks. We've also received some awesome donations. One person definitely knows who they are. Because honestly, if that person didn't step up at the time that they did, I honestly don't know if I would have continued doing this. Because the way I see it, I put my heart and my energy and time into something, but it hasn't paid off. And I'm thinking maybe, just maybe next year might pay it off with the changes that we're doing and some of the things I'm trying to implement. But at the same time, part of doing this is trying to get your name and voice out there across many different platforms and places as possible. And one of the biggest is YouTube, and I'm conflicted. I'm very conflicted because do I go ahead and continue placing our content up on YouTube or do what I did last week? Or this week. So what I did this past week is instead of posting the full episode of Minecraft Me on YouTube that we've been doing since the beginning, since episode 1, for episode 105, I said, hey, everybody, this week we're talking about World Edit CUI. If you'd like to know more, come on over to GeekGamer.tv and you can watch the full episode. But will people come over?
Well,
I don't know.
Wait and see.
It gets really bad when even you're an independent provider of games. For example, indie maven Jonathan Blow, he posted video of his own game that he made, and it was flagged by ContentID. Saying, first off, he uploaded video of a game called The Witness. He's an independent developer, and he owns all the rights to this game. He uploaded video gameplay of this game. YouTube sent him a violation notice saying that his footage, The Witness, was owned by Sony. Now, this is the problem, right? So Sony's going to flag the content. He's going to say, I own it. After 30 days, they're going to release that claim, probably. You would think. But there's no harm to Sony for pushing out a false claim, is there? Or putting out a saying that you did something wrong, right?
I think if they should say, if the whoever it is that's backing it, if they lose more than 3 claims, they should get banned from making claims.
True. But they're not. They're not.
Nope.
See, the only time a video ever gets removed from YouTube is if there's a copyright claim against. But these are just content claims. And then you got the whole thing like, what is considered fair, right? Is it fair to take a video that's, say, 20 minutes long, like Angry Joe doing a review of, say, Battlefield 4, and he uses, say, a minute of video? What happens is when that copyright holder claims that video, they're taking 100% of that video. Is that fair?
Well, there should
What is
be
considered fair?
well there should be in the so right part of the as I recall, and I haven't really looked into it recently, but as I recall, part of the agreement in terms of YouTube adding this content ID system, just in general, I'm not talking about specifically what they've done recently, but originally was that while a content creator could report something that was infringing on their rights, which was totally appropriate and fine, if they reported something that wasn't as if it was, or reported something that was that they thought was illegal but actually wasn't, there was supposed to be some kind of penalty to them. But there doesn't appear to be, because they're still doing it. And even, I mean, there's no the bigger, I mean, one of the big issues here is that there's no human behind it, right? There's nobody
it's a robot
overviewing what's going on. It's just a computer says, well, that looks kind of similar. It's 51%. We're going to go with it. You know, the same way that the NSA was deciding whether or not you were a U.S. citizen.
Right.
You know, 51% chance you're not a U.S. citizen, so we'll just do whatever we want.
Right.
You know, so I think that's a problem. Is there's huge repercussions for the person who's being reported, whether they're being reported legally or correctly or not. But for the person doing the reporting, there's absolutely none. You know, there's no downfall to them at all. Which makes me think that, yeah, maybe if I was a media company, I would just hire a law firm that was independent enough to appear impartial, and just have them go. Every video that I didn't like for any reason, just flag it. I don't like the way that guy looked at that toy that this other manufacturer used, so that, you know, it'd be bad publicity for me. Flag it. I don't care. And it doesn't matter, because the review process takes so long. There's no penalty for doing it. Why not? Right?
I mean, remember, this all comes back to the same company who flagged content from NASA about Curiosity deploying to Mars. Remember that?
Right. Yeah.
That happened to us. We brought that coverage live from NASA, which is the government's channel.
And what's funny about that is government created content doesn't get copyrighted.
Exactly. But an automated system flagged it.
Probably because all of the other news channels out there were covering it.
And they claimed it as theirs.
Right. Even though they also weren't the content owners. Yeah.
It's going to be one of those situations where I don't know what the right move is for GeekGamerTV. I did state and made a statement that we're going to slowly start pulling away from YouTube. I mean, we've always had our content available on our website without YouTube ads, but the way I saw YouTube was as a monetization relationship where if I created very, very good content, I could possibly make some extra money to help offset the costs associated with doing this kind of thing. Now, good friend of ours, Jay Huckabee in the chat room, saying that I would have continued doing this, nothing can stop me. Well, while that might be true, I'm not going to say no. I honestly, you know, it really becomes disheartening when you see, you know, you try and you try and you try and you try, and you don't break through. You know, it just there's after a while you just stop because it just gets you get tired of doing that fight. And for example, like guys like Mark who left YouTube was tired of fighting. Was just tired. And there's a lot of gamers out there who want to be the next Classic Game Room, who want to be the next Angry Joe, who may not be able to do that because of these automated systems and these policies. Do you guys think that this will kill YouTube? I mean, obviously, it makes it seem like YouTube wants everybody to just, you know, blog.
Now,
I mean, what do you... I mean, I don't know. I mean...
So, but now it only really gets tagged is if you got monetization on, correct?
Well, yeah, possibly. Maybe. No, that's not always the case because remember, when you upload content, there's an automated system that checks if there is anything copyright in your material. And if there is, they can do one of two things. They can say copyright violation. We want that taken down. Or B, well, we're going to let you have it up on the internet. We're going to let you keep it up on YouTube, but we may place ads next to it or on that video. So what happens, John, is if I make a video about Battlefield 4 and they decided, you know what, we consider that not fair use. We're going to monetize your content. So basically, you're saying that my hard work, you're going to get paid for it because you feel that I'm infringing on your copyright.
Okay. So it is more than just the stuff that was getting monetized already.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, they can go through any one of our videos, and they have.
Mhm.
And I've disputed every one of them, and I consider them fair use. Now, after 30 days, those claims have been cleared. But then it's too late. You've already lost the juice, if you will. You've already lost the new factor.
Mhm. But on the ones that aren't monetized, though, during that period, that video's still up.
Oh, yeah. No, the
Yeah.
video's always up unless they dispute it for copyright infringement and have them take it down.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, some people have said, well, why don't you go to Dailymotion or Vimeo or all these other places? You can, but there's a big key word there, and that's monetization. You know, one of the big things, the reason why you have guys and gals and gamers who have basically quit their jobs to focus on creating excellent content. And if you haven't watched any of the Angry Joe videos or Total Biscuit videos, watch them. There's good content there. But they may not make it for YouTube anymore because what's the point? If they're not going to get paid for their hard work, what's the point? Why upload it? I don't know what to do. For me, a small guy, I want to fight this. I really do. And I feel like the only way that I could potentially fight anything like this is say, well, if you want to watch some of the content that we've put together, come watch it on our website. But I don't earn monetization from that fact. I don't earn that potential income, you know? No, agent, no. During those 30 days, ads still are showing. They just go to that content owner. They go to whoever's disputing it.
The guy who's claimed to be the content
Right, the
owner.
company who's So
The
say
supposed.
so take this as an example, okay? Nintendo. See, this is where what do you do, right? This is Nintendo here. They're flagging copyright. They're calling it copyright in a latest sweep of videos. So somebody posted a video of Mario Party Island Tour, and as you could see here, Nintendo has flagged sound recording content on parts of that video. Now, this video isn't pulled. They just want to receive revenue from that video being viewed. So if you have 1 million views and that thing is just racking it up and everybody's watching it, and Nintendo has decided to flag your video, even if it's a bogus claim. See, this is the part that is just incredible. Even if it's bogus, they can flag it, get the revenue, and let's say your dispute holds. Well, you lost out on that revenue for the past 30 days. You don't get anything retroactive. They just say, oh, sorry, our bad. Now it's back to you. I've had stuff flagged. I fought it all. But after those 30 days, people tend to move on to new content. You lose out. It's frustrating. It is so frustrating. Because what do you do? What's the answer? How do you fight it? I just don't know what to do. Do you guys think I'm playing it right by saying, hey, instead of watching the content, come watch it on our website? I mean,
Sure.
would you do it? Would you, let's say you're cruising YouTube, John. And you subscribe to all your favorite friends. Now you have to go to all these individual sites to watch the content. Would you? I bet you some of those would fall off the wayside. That's too many sites. Makes it easy. If you subscribe,
it's too much work. Even if it's a link in the show notes or in the description, it's more work than a lot of people are willing to put into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bad one to ask about that because, for one, I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't follow anybody on YouTube, so it's like there's specific sites that I go to, so I go to their site for what the content that I'm looking for.
Yeah, but
so
today's generation isn't like that, though. You know what I mean? I mean, they're not like that. I mean, Joe, would you float around to individual sites to watch content? I mean.
But
it would depend. It would depend on the content,
right?
Honestly,
but
if it was something that was established that I watched regularly, and I wouldn't see that as being an issue. But in terms of discovering new media or new content, it's really hard to do it that way because a little clip on the internet that says, "Hey, we're going to talk about this," unless there's something really compelling in that, I'm not going to bother. I mean, most people wouldn't.
The content recently that's been flagged and knowledge in our chat room below, this stuff isn't backlogged. It's not a backlog. They just flipped it on for the multi-channel networks. So the way it was before is multi-channel networks like Machinima, for example, they have all these smaller channels that are underneath them and they're working with for promotion and for copyright. And what happened was these multi-channel networks were not policing the content as they should. So YouTube said, well, fine, since you're not policing it as you should, we're going to start policing it. And that's why all these gaming channels all of a sudden got flagged for lots of content because the MCNs were not doing that. So it's not a backlog. They just turned it on, essentially.
Mm-hmm. So...
what about hosting it public but not listed and just embed the video on your website? Well, that's, DX9S. That might work for somebody like Mark at Classic Game Room who's got probably over 1 million followers and can say, hey, we got 1 million people watching my content. But for someone like me who doesn't have that, it makes it very, very difficult to get advertisers directly to sponsor content on your website. It is extremely difficult. And if you have the magic sauce on that, I'd be all ears. But if you're big, you're probably going to be okay. Your people will follow you. If you're small and up and coming and you're trying to gain traction in this world, this is a very scary situation. So, obviously, YouTube hasn't really answered well. They're in the bag of the content holders, if you will. They don't care if there's bogus claims or not. They keep saying that there's just a dispute system, but that's really not the answer. There's got to be something else to get done here. So we'll see. I didn't want this to be all doom and gloom. I did want to talk about some other cool gaming related news. There's one big story that I really wanted to chat about before we got out of here this week. And Joe asked me this earlier this past week. He said, "Hey Chase, did you get an email at this certain time?" I'm like, "No," because guess what's out there in the wild now? A whole bunch of beta testers got this Steam machine prototype.
Well, a whole bunch, or 200 out of
millions.
No, they actually published the number. It was like 30-some thousand people who had signed up.
So look at this cool box that it came in, first off. I just think the box is great. And that's what it looks like. This is the prototype. It's like a small little tower, essentially. A little ITX tower there. And it comes with the Darth Vader controller. Looks really, really cool. Obviously, Valve is going to be announcing at CES who their official hardware partners are. But this looks cool and promising. Obviously, here's what all the gamers love to see. Here's the back.
The back.
Here's the back of the console. Now, is it fair to call it a console, Joe? I mean, what would you call this? I mean, console can be a relative term, right? So
yeah.
Media box.
It's not really a console because it's, that's the thing. It's not really a gaming PC. It's not designed to be a gaming PC. They make it really, really clear that it's designed to be a living room PC.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of hard to describe exactly what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But there are some interesting notes. People who've pointed out, see that drilled out hole. If you go back to that,
yeah.
All of the machines have a different drilled out hole, and there's approximately 300 holes there. So that is how they can identify which machine is which, if it came down to it.
Oh, okay.
Just from pictures. The video card that is in all of them, at least the ones that people have received so far, appear to all have been NVIDIA cards, GeForce GTXs. I don't know if there's so many pictures of anybody who's cracked one open yet. I haven't seen very many anyway. They did have some released on their website of them opened. And the other thing too is if you want to build one, so you're not one of the lucky 200 who got one of these things. Well, that's rough. I'm not either. But if you want to set one up, you can do everything except for the console, the handheld controller at home. The SteamOS is available online. Just remember, Valve has said many times, and they keep reiterating it, it is not a gaming operating system. It is intended to go as a home theater PC. It is intended to hook up to your TV and both play games that are compatible on it, which is awesome.
I don't see
also stream content.
I don't see an optical disc drive on here either.
Now, why would there be one?
Well, Blu-ray.
They're seriously, optical discs are so behind the times at this point. I mean, it's time to get away from optical drives.
It's all about digital content.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a disc slot on here, but
yeah, there's no. I think this the only input to the system would be via USB. But yeah, having an optical drive on it, I wouldn't miss it. I can count on less than one hand how many times I've had to use the drive in my computer. So, but yeah, it's a cool box. Like I said, if you want to do one yourself, you can do it. If you got spare parts, you can go to Valve's website and download the SteamOS installer package and get it up and running yourself. And a number of people have done that already.
Are you going to give that a try, Joe? Are you going to give that a roll?
I probably would have tried it sometime this weekend, but I've been busy with something else.
Fair enough.
I'd like to try it. I just haven't had time yet.
Got it.
Someone's got to make the crate into one.
That crate is really cool.
Either
by the way.
Open the crate, put a fan in there, and put the box in the crate. I want to see that.
The crate is pretty cool. Yeah, I will say.
I could see Bug doing that.
Well, one of the now wonder if HDMI allows you to go to input and plug a Chromecast into it. Well, the HDMI. Remember, this is an outbound box, so the only thing you're basically plugging into it probably is maybe a controller.
Yeah.
If not, nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's not like the Xbox 360 where they say it's a media center and a gaming system. This is just straight gaming, at least for right now. There's some potential that with Steam Store working the way it does, they can add other content to it later. But right now, it's all about gaming in your living room. And really, I think the innovation isn't in the Steam box. I think the Steam box is cool and it's approachable, and hopefully it'll kickstart more Linux game development because that's what it's based on. But I think the controller is potentially where they have a bigger winner, because that controller, by all accounts, sounds like it works pretty well. Most people who've said they've used it have said they really like it. So we'll have to see how that goes as more people receive theirs. They only shipped them out on, I think, Thursday.
Yeah, a lot of people got them on time, unlike my lights, but yes.
Well, a lot of people who got them, the people who got them Friday and Saturday, mostly Friday, were the ones who were probably very close in the Seattle area. Or near wherever they shipped them from. I can't remember where they shipped them from. The rest of the people are expecting to get them throughout the following week. So we'll get more and more stories about these things. But yeah, only 200 of them out there in the world, and there is a private Steam group already just for those 200 people. Yeah. So if you're one of them, send me your Steam box.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
And
great.
Hey, Valve, I mean, I'm close by. I mean, if you need somebody to come down, I can come and pick it up. You don't even have to ship it. I'll come and pick it up.
No shipping required.
No shipping required.
No, and they were only going to do them. It's actually they only sent them out to North America.
It was just North America.
Yeah, I believe it's just North America. Yeah. Which, you guys are in North America.
Now, as you guys may know, we're heading out to CES this year, 2014, in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is January 5th through the 9th. But hey, if you live in the Las Vegas area and you want to have a chance to win some awesome cash and prizes, this is being ran, at least being hosted by one of our good friends of the show, Chris Cashman. And I'll just read this to you guys. Do you love watching television? Well, it's time to put your eyes to the test. They're looking for several bold contestants to set a new world record for TV binge watching. Join in the excitement at CES 2014 by taking part in an official world record attempt. If you can watch TV for over 86 hours continuously and want to be rewarded with cash and awesome prizes, they want to hear from you. Now, you do have to live in the Las Vegas area or you're going to be there. I was saying, Joe, before the show that I think gamers could do this very easily. I mean, gamers that go to LAN parties, they stay up 24, 48 hours. They don't bathe. Perfect for something like this. So if you are interested in this...
Yeah, 86 hours is a long time.
It's a long time. But the cash prize... Now, I know what the cash prize is. I can't say what it is because I don't know if I'm supposed to.
$1 million.
It's not that much money. But
it's like $100 Starbucks gift card?
Maybe. No.
Good for a latte?
Yeah, it's full latte. Yeah, what they don't do. Yeah, Jayhawk.
That's why you watch the pre-show.
Yeah, what they don't tell you, it's 86 hours of Duck Dynasty. Back to back to back.
No.
On repeat.
Well, does it have to be TV or does it just have to be,
all it says here is they are going to take care of the food and the TV viewing entertainment. That's all they say.
Yeah, it's all gonna be content that has Chris Cashman in it then.
Yeah, I was saying it's 86 hours of live stream from CES.
That's why they told you about it. You submitted the episodes where he's guested it, didn't you?
Yeah.
They're gonna have to watch those too.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. So hey, you guys, we will be at CES 2014. And by the way, if you are a company or individual who wants to get some awesome exposure, we're going to be putting out some great videos and content from CES. By the way, we do have over 1 million YouTube views, over 250,000 podcast downloads over the past 90 days, over 10,000 Roku channel subscribers, and we also get over 1 million hits to GeekGamerTV monthly on our website. That is true. Those are all certified stats. Don't delay. Contact me today. Would love it if you want to be a part of the coverage. It's just a few short weeks away. All that fun wrapped up into one long week. It's going to be great. Mm-hmm. And by the way, we are planning to cover the smaller stuff, the niche-y things, the gaming-related items, the things that may not even make it above the noise. We're going to give them a voice.
We're going to interview or review all of the iPhone cases.
All of them.
Makers.
That's a lot, John. You know that.
Yeah, it is.
So, should be a lot of fun. Should be a great time. Null Agent, we've checked out the Oculus Rift. We were very impressed with it at PAX. Yeah. And hopefully, if they are there, we'll just go by and say hi. Still love your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then ask them when we can buy one again.
Server Administrator Extraordinaire, Mr. Joseph Falby, as we did this show today, is installing all over again. How's the progress coming?
On the box.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still going.
Yeah.
Still going.
You can follow him on Twitter at Falby, Falbey. John Kessler, he's not on any social media platform by design.
Yes.
And he doesn't have a white beard.
No.
And I would say you can follow him, but you can't.
Yep.
You can follow me on Twitter if you guys want to, at Nunes, Nunes. You could also follow the great Geek Gamer TV network at GeekGamerTV on Twitter. We also have a Facebook page, Google Plus page. We might even have an Orkut page. I'm not exactly sure. For those who are watching our show live right now, hang out. Stay after the show. We'll love to take your calls and your questions. That's why that Skype number and name are down below. But if you want to participate during a live show and see your name come up on screen, it's a lot of fun to do so. Every Sunday evening, 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 Eastern at live.geekgamer.tv. We'd love to have you join us. It's been a lot of fun, you guys. For Mr. Joseph Falby, John Kessler, my name is Chase Nunes. Thank you for watching Geek Gamer Weekly. Until we all talk again, we're all silent. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
Stall. What?
Ubuntu.
That's not a
32-bit.
name. That's not a person name.